Well, hello, Cancer. This is your monthly love tarot consultation, and this is a general reading, although it is aimed at relationships. So I want you to think about the relationship that is current in your life now, and what are the struggles, what are the problems, what are the issues that you're having in relationships, or if you're looking for a relationship. Think about what questions you might have about that. Where am I blocked? What's blocking me from having the love that I want? And so I'm going to start right out with the advice. This is kind of the overall energy or the advice card for the reading. And this is from the Viking card deck. This is card number 12. Yes, card number 12, the East, the dragon. Or this is about inner fear. And it's very appropriately colored a lot of red, because red is a very first chakra color, and first chakra issues all have to do with safety and our fears, which were formed in childhood. They're based on things that we learned in our childhood. And so I'm going to actually read to you the description from the book about that, because this is kind of like your key message for the month. And by the way, this reading is for the time period of November 18th through December 18th. So this will kind of take you all the way up to almost up to Christmas. So the dragon, inner fear. Although the dragons of the old heroic epics have long since disappeared, you are still unconsciously fighting dragons that reside within you. They now take on different shapes, like those of self-deprecation, fear, anxiety, greed, jealousy, and envy, to name a few. So this dragon that has shown up in your reading today is challenging you to wrestle with him. In the old heroic epics, the heroes charged directly at the dragon to slay it, and that is what you must also do. You have to face your inner fears and comprehend their size and magnitude before you can slay them. You need to work toward a positive evaluation of yourself, build up your self-respect, get away from the tyranny of fear, and calm the waves of greed, jealousy, and envy. One of the best ways to face the dragon is to write down what it is that you fear the most. Once you have put the fear on paper, the dragon won't appear as malicious. Take a look at which dragon you need to face now and select a positive approach to wrestle with him. So, it's going right back to childhood fears. This is where it all comes from your childhood. And it's very appropriate because when you look at the other cards, first card up, this is what you bring into the relationship. And this is the Ten of Staves. Cancer, you're working too hard at this. You go into relationships and you work really, really, really hard. I feel a lot of you are people pleasers. You feel that relationships are supposed to be hard work. You learned this pattern probably from your mother and father, and you are definitely carrying out the family tradition in regard to that. And so I'm feeling that some of you have pretty much given up on relationships because it is such hard work. Or some of you may be saying, well, I'm open to a relationship, but nothing's happening. And what I'm hearing is this may be why, because you are unconsciously blocking yourself from getting involved in a relationship because you don't feel like you have the time or the energy for it. Because when you're in close relationship with someone, you get drained because you have no boundaries. You don't know how to set boundaries at all. And you're just such a giver, such a pleaser that and you just end up getting walked all over and feeling taken advantage of. That's exactly what I'm hearing, Cancer. So that's what you're bringing into relationship right now. So there's a lot of work to do there. What your partner is bringing into the relationship: Empress in reverse. Normally, the Empress can be a very affectionate, sensual, sexual person, but this is in the reverse. And so this is telling me that your partner is not the affectionate person that you want, is not very nurturing, not very giving to you. And essentially, I'm hearing like, what the heck are you doing with this person? you know, wow. Oh, and here's kind of the answer, because the other cards that I pulled along with that card to get some clarification. The Lover's card. This is kind of, whoops, the soulmate card, you know. So this is someone that you probably feel a very strong karmic bond to. But you know, a bond often leaves you feeling like a slave. It leaves you feeling like you are enslaved. Um, and this person actually, what they're bringing into the relationship is an opportunity. Wow, this is what I'm just hearing. An opportunity for you to learn how to unslave yourself, how to get yourself out of these bonds. Because the Eight of Swords actually came up in reverse. And they're saying this is the lesson that your partner is bringing you. Because by being in this relationship, the lesson for you to learn from it is how to get yourself out of this trapped energy that you feel. Because this is what this is. The Eight of Swords is that you've got yourself trapped, but it's a trap of your own making. And all this hard work that you're doing, this is just based on your belief that this is what you have to do to be in a relationship. Like, you have to take all the control, you have to do all the work. And especially if you're a woman, that's a setup for disaster, because men actually want a woman that they can serve and protect. But if you are the one who's always having to take control because of your fear that if you don't take control, everything's going to go wrong, you're going to end up doing a lot of work, and um, it's going to feel terrible, because you're going to feel drained at the end of the day, instead of feeling nurtured by the relationship, which is what you really want. You want to feel nurtured. So, your emotional future with this person. Well, these cards are a bit more hopeful. Now, the Queen of Swords, she came up in reverse. So this is someone who speaks her truth, speaks her mind, and is very clear. But she came up in reverse. So, you know, perhaps this is part of your lesson too. You know, again, boundaries. I spoke about boundaries earlier. And part of setting boundaries means you really have to speak your truth, which you haven't been doing, in order to get a feeling of balance in the relationship, like there is an equal give and take in the relationship. That's what you really are seeking. And you can have that if you learn to be like the Queen of Swords and be very clear with your words and your communication. Future of your partner in the relationship, Queen of Cups. This is someone who's very emotionally balanced, who's very emotionally vulnerable, has emotional intelligence, someone who's very close to their emotions. You can see her feet are almost in the water. Someone who's not afraid to show their feelings. So that's actually a very positive card. Now, the outcome, I had a lot of negative, not negative, but cards that showed up in the reverse. So I'm going to kind of give you a synopsis. These are the ones that showed up in the reverse. We have the Hanged Man in reverse, the Page of Swords in reverse, and the World in reverse. So, you know, these cards, the World in reverse, the World is a very good card, regardless of whether it's in reverse or not. It just shows that you have the potential to have the world at your feet, everything that you always wanted. But right now you're blocked because, again, of these fears that you need to face. The Page of Swords in reverse, what I'm hearing is immaturity. There's some immaturity because when you're still living from your inner child, still trying to get the wants and the needs satisfied of the inner child, like the 5-year-old within you, it often comes across as immaturity and an inability to really get your needs met in a mature way. So you often come across as childish, maybe. The Hanged Man in reverse. Sometimes I see this as getting yourself off the cross, like stopping, quit being the victim, because for me, what I always tell my clients is that the first step to changing your life and really having a breakthrough in your relationships is to take 100% responsibility for everything that you've created in your life, and particularly in your relationships. And so this card can sometimes represent that, taking that 100% responsibility. But you have to take that in steps. It's not like you're gonna, you're gonna have days where you're gonna want to have a pity party for yourself. So I kept picking cards because I wanted to get a card that was finally upright for the outcome. And here's another one in reverse, the Three of Pentacles. And this one is about working in a group, working together in unison with a group, working in cooperation. And it's hard to work in cooperation with other people when you have all these childhood fears getting in the way. So again, there's work for you to do here, Cancer. And then the final card that I picked, that finally I got one upright. This one is about making a choice. It's about making a decision. Do you stay on the land where you've been, the land that's familiar? But as you can see, this person has in their hand a stave and is looking forward and has the world in, he's got the world in his hands and he's looking out over the ocean. A whole world out there. So yeah, I would say, Cancer, the main advice for this month or this time period is to really get to work on your childhood fears. And I want to invite you, if you need a session of tapping, EFT tapping, to work on your fears, to work on the things that's getting in the way of your relationships, please go to my website, www.dawnpriolette.com, or you can also go to www.intuitivedawn.net, and you can actually purchase an EFT coaching session with me to work on these issues, so that you stop, creating this situation where relationships just feel like too much work, So there you have it, Cancer. This is your advice for the month. Work on slaying those inner dragons, and I will see you in our next session together. Also, go down to the description box below, because if you just need a more detailed reading, I have a link in the description box below, and you can just click on that. And also, thank you, Cancer, for subscribing to my channel so that you can get these updated love readings every month. And as well for liking and sharing this video. So until next time, salam.